Final match here on the Summer Showdown qualifiers for today. Shanghai Dragons going up against the Philadelphia Fusion. Me and Nav were having a quick chat in the break. I wonder if Bad Patramari has gone bold yet. If you remember how this went last time for the Fusion, where they didn't have that scoreline all fine and dandy. They did end up losing that series, I believe, and yeah, losing to Hunters and of all teams. But it's not looking good for them. They have a much tougher opponent today. The Shanghai Dragons, who could be in first place if they weren't behind on number of matches played. Just have to keep racking up the map wins, and then they can have a showdown against the Seoul Dynasty at the end of the stage.
Fusion are my favorite .500 team. Look at that, 7-7. Boom, smack down the middle. You know, keep your scoreline as even as possible. A team that is capable of beating the Shanghai Dragons and also losing to the Valiant. They can do that in the same day if they wanted to. And speaking of Shanghai Dragons, they're playing against them now. Would you believe that the last 5 times that the Fusion and the Dragons have met in a match, the series has gone 3-0. Doesn't matter whether it's Dragons winning or Fusion winning. Whoever wins, it's a 3-0. We haven't seen a 3-1 or a 3-2 result between these two teams since May of 2021. Since May Melee 2021. So it's been a very one-sided affair for either side for these two teams in the last 5 games we've played. So let's go ahead and meet the Philadelphia Fusion now. See who's playing. Probably Fury back on the Junker Queen. Not expecting too many changes here. Biggest question is MN3 in or is Carpe in? It will be Carpe still staying on the Sojin. So same lineup as we saw last time.
Yeah, no real differences here. I mean, the irony is, right, when you put MN3 in now, like, we just see them playing Sojourn. Ashe become a rarity, unfortunately. Do get the occasional Ashe moment, but no, Carpe is very solid on there. Zest as Genji has been really good, and the rest of the team's doing quite well. So why change up what's happening for the Fusion if this is the optimal setup for where you can be right now?
Well, I think, you know, you say why change things. I'm not suggesting that they should. I actually believe in this lineup. I have full faith in this lineup here. But you know, there's definitely some vocal people out there that have been asking questions about the lineup. But you know what? I trust Jin. I trust the Fusion, T1 to get it done. This is the one team being Shanghai Dragons. The Fusion have been able to get a lot of wins off of. And I talked about the fact that the last 5 games have been 3-0s. Well, guess what? 3 out of those 5 games have gone in the favor of the Philly Fusion. And 2 of those games were from this year alone. So these two teams have only played each other 3 times over the course of this season. And it's currently a 2-1 record in favor of the Fusion. Let's take a look at Shanghai now. Should be the Void lineup again with Who Are You and the Genji. Yep, there it is. Very scary looking lineup, and I'm glad that for the Shanghai Dragons, they've kind of found their A-team as well, at least for this meta. Getting Who Are You back in the starting lineup has done wonders for the squad.
I mean, with Genji being so prevalent, right, it makes sense that Who Are You is a monster right now. So yeah, getting them into the lineup, making use of the composition is all going to be fantastic for them. Lip, I'm sure, is going to be an asset when it comes around to the Sojourn as well. But this is a team that's been dominant for the past couple of seasons now. Shanghai Dragons been on top and just a force in the eastern region. I think it's a tall order today for the Fusion. As you've mentioned, though, overall, a couple of victories for the Fusion, 3-0 fashion coming in beforehand. So let's see how it goes down today. And that 7-7 scoreline that they're currently sat at, 7 wins, 7 losses, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Are they leading with losses and catching up with wins, or leading with wins and catching up with losses? Because that might help indicate how this is going to go for them. Because they might end up with 8-7 if they're win leaders. So
well, they just, their last 2 games, being their only games of the stage, was a 3-2 rather win versus the Valiant. And then a 0-3 loss to the Chengdu Hunters. So this is the thing about being a .500 team for them. You know, with 1 win comes 1 loss straight afterwards, or vice versa. And that was a brutal loss, by the way. I should add to the Chengdu Hunters as well. A very
so what you're saying is brutal 3-0 for the Fusion. Brutal 3-0 incoming. Brutal 3-0 for the Fusion to win. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, I think
they have to balance it out their win leaders.
They're either going to get the 3-0 versus Dragons, or they're going to get 3-0, because so far that's been the history between these two teams for 5 games in a row. And if history continues again, it's not going to be close. But who wins? Hard to say. Dragons have been on a dominant streak so far. They are themselves trying to catch the Seoul Dynasty. They're 6-0 on maps. Seoul Dynasty currently 12-0 in fact. The Shanghai Dragons, 2 more games left to play this weekend, have the opportunity to tie that up. Can they also go flawless? It'll be tough because they're Philly and Chengdu, 2 reasonable teams for them to get past. Number 1 is going to be Ilios here, as we don't expect too much difference in terms of the lineups. And yep, just Junker Queen, Genji plus the Sojin, no Echo yet, maybe at all. Certainly not for Dragons. That's more of a fusion thing if they go towards it.
3, 2, 1.
All right.
Round 1.
Gonna kick things off with well. Here they come running out of the spawn points. Get themselves locked up, ready to have a showdown.
I'm glad no one's
just
on
checking
the
off
Ashe
my
here. I
mini.
think Ashe is kind of overrated on this particular map. So that's one thing that's good. Who are you? Looking to get pretty aggro starting things out.
It takes a chunk of damage for his aggression. Put on the back foot immediately. Able to sustain through. Saw Fixer flying on just to help out Zest in that engagement. We finally cut down Zest, finding the Genji Master, and Carpe takes out Lip as well. Fantastic start for the fusion. You wanted brutality, Abgul. That's what we're finding in his first conflict.
Looking for a little bit of Etu Brute happening today. Maybe between the 2 Genji players. It's a young gunner Zest versus the veteran of Who Are You. At one point, Who Are You was considered like the young gun of the entire Overwatch scene. Long ago that was now. Zest diving ahead 53 to 35 in the ult charge. Fusion claiming fight number 1. Brilliant stuff coming through from the Philadelphia Fusion.
Who are you?
Well,
Sends us back
that
to school.
changed.
Answers back immediately. Look at this direct flip coming in for the Dragons. They want to have just as dominant of a retake. Who are you? But to stay alive to make that happen with the dash through and the reset. And they just flip it back in such a dominant fashion already.
Who are you's like, alright, I'm warmed up. I just needed 1 fight to warm up. We back.
Overtaken on the ult charge as well. He just lapped Zest on ult charge.
He just found like 50% ult charge in 1 fight.
Yep.
He was quite a bit behind Zest, and now he's a reasonable amount ahead. Not by an insane amount. They're both way ahead of the supports for what it's worth. This is what happens when you have like 2 amazing Genjis in the server. Both the supports on both teams are struggling to keep up.
For me, it's who's going to utilize that gap in ultimates better. Right? If they use these blades on tempo and try and beat the barriers, beat the support ultimates, who can have the most impact on just a raw blade?
Doesn't roll
There's
off
the blade from Who Are You,
but take it.
Goes for the swing through. Some cleave damage, but no kill conversion. Zest not winning out on the race. But by the time Zest gets that online, you might have an answer from Lee J gone ready. Zest has to use this quickly if he wants to have the same luxury that Who Are You had.
I think Lip's going to go for this as well. I mean, this fight's going to get deadly. You have Carpe coming online. A lot of players will have their ultimates available. Zest playing this one patiently.
Weighing out. Here it comes. Goes onto the back line.
No
conversion either. So low. Beat comes out just to catch him so he can re-engage into the fight, but still didn't have enough uptime with the blade to be able to actually convert it into anything. Rally's being traded afterwards. Flip comes in for the fusion on the back end of the fight. They get the kill conversion onto Lip. He will sit on the point and try and pick up the stragglers. Carpe goes for a ride down the hole. You can't set up next to it. Lee J gone. He's going to send you flying every time, and that was the beginning of the end for Fusion's offense. They had the luxury of having the point captured so they could build some percentage, but this fight will still go over to the Dragons.
And you actually saw there, by the way, Lee Jae-gon flying in. Carpe saw he railed Lee Jae-gon, put him down to 1 HP, but because Lee Jae-gon lived, he got the boop off and sent Carpe flying into the well. So such close margins there, because Carpe actually nearly killed Lee Jae-gon, but this is going to continue to be Shanghai Dragons leading 80% to 50. Philadelphia keeping it close. A lot of ultimate spent in that last fight. Everybody popped in an ult, and only Void and Fury now have anything to play through, so who indeed does have the better rampage here? Fury likely pressured to go early. Watch the boop, so expect Izzyaki and Lee Jae-gon to boop it away. In fact, they might even try and put him in the hole.
Rampage trading through, 3 for 1. I know who had the better. It was Fury, and Carpe's able to turn it around quickly with a headshot onto Void. Pay the attention over to Lip on the back, and this is it. Fusion, good fight win. Little bit of tank diff when it comes to the Rampage usage there.
Lip actually voluntarily dropped off the map. So I didn't want to give the kill credit to Zest. Who knows? His teammate was actually right behind him. But in any case, the goal is done. Zest wanted Lip dead. Lip goes down. Now we get a full reset, 67 to 99. And every single fight so far has been in almost exact equal ult trade. Who Are You and Zest back at it.
Who Are You has the advantage on the climb. have the rally as well. There's a big ult advantage that's prevailed now for the Shanghai Dragons in what could be this final fight. There's that rally used on tempo. HuRyu has the blade, going to pull it out, turns his attention to Carpe, who slides out very quickly. Does not want to give over a reset.
Wait,
Fury and Carpe find two! But Fury will end up going off the map himself for that one.
Hashtag
2-for-1
kill
trade. Exactly. Fusion have the map. They touch their trigger the overtime. HuRyu will be able to escape with their life as well. Final conflict on the map. Oh, Lee Jae gone again! People need to stop playing in the well. And here's the blade and the beat that comes out. Fixer finding Lip, the cut down onto Izayaki. Dragons struggling to materialize off the environmental. You've got a Hammond on the point now just so they could touch. Philadelphia Fusion have the setup. They have the point. They're going to run down the time here. No war contest. Round number 1 going over to the Fusion.
And 4 frags by Fixer in the last fight there as well. As cute as it was to see Lee Jae-gon booping people into the well, it did not give the Dragons enough of a player advantage to actually finish that last fight. And as you sort of mentioned there as well, Void coming back on towards the ball, just trying to continue the fight forward, but can't really win off the back of that one. So, oh, I see what happened here. Fury got booped into the well, but because he knifed Fury, he took Fury in with him. That's actually really, really good. Kind of like one of those Roadhog things, because we see Roadhogs here as well. They get booped into the well, and they hook somebody down with them, and, you know, at least you trade 1-for-1. I respect that.
3, 2,
Go down fighting, always.
round 2.
Moving over to Ruins.
The objective.
No changes to the comps just yet.
Wouldn't
We'll go
expect
for
it
a
here.
clash on Mirror.
I think you won't get any for this entire map now. Well, sometimes you see a little bit of stuff, but Ruins, cookie cutter. Close game though, 99-99.
Stab through for HuRyu. Just going to harass Zest, try and contest with them. Wants to chase him down here. They see a lot of low HP bars, but even so, on the Dragons, you got some Mega Control is there, so that will help with the sustain. And now they just convert them, crashing that wave down onto the Philadelphia Fusion. Managed to tax Lee Jae-gon for the efforts, but that is point capture going to the Dragons.
I think Void actually got that Mega in the fight as well, because he got point low,
Yes.
but survived from it. So Mega Control, can't underestimate how strong that can be. Void sadly will fail to get on top of the roof, as we saw there, but they'll just play the low ground now. Flip maybe a little far forward. HuRyu beating Zest by nearly double on the ult charge, very important.
Still just clashing. Whenever you check on where they are, they're both just fighting each other with
no.
shurikens. Oh!
Off the map.
Pain for Void! And that's the fight. That's just the fight off of that. You want to play around this edge of the map.
A lot of ult charge for God as well.
Yeah, you want to play around that side of the map. You want to play around the Mega. You run the risk of
that was so
environmentals, and AimCod just
you
capitalizes
saw Void as
perfectly.
well. He was like scrambling to try and stay on, like a rock climber that just lost its grip, but you're slowly sliding down the cliff face, and there it is. Void goes down, but on the re-entry, Lip will take down Carpe. There is still a fight. Fusion can still go on because they have the high ground. They can just drop down.
And AimCod as well. This is a fight win for Fusion. That's a 5v3. Zest will get Lip. They push the Fusion away. Can't stall out the capture anymore. Zest
Fusion
make themselves
guys might die
very
here.
vulnerable. They try to stick around. Wait. In the tiny Overwatch room? No, no, no. As Fury gets cut down on the hunt. Trying to use the speed. Oh, Best could not get to the Mega in time. Hunt down like the prey he was right then. And the Fusion will have to try and go for another retake against the Dragons.
Okay. And this time, the team is trying to all stack up on that high ground as expected. Same as what Fusion did actually on the Shanghai side of the map, as we saw. That is what got Lip killed and couldn't get out of that trap. A lot of ultimates coming online for now the Philly Fusion. We saw HuRyu pulled that blade. It will be Zest's turn coming up. Izayaki has a rally, but Lee Jae-gon's still a little bit off that sound barrier, so can't quite cleanly counter that blade. This could be a big opportunity for Zest to find a fight win. We'll certainly need it.
Mega's gone.
Lip could
No.
be dead here.
Okay, has the dash to get back onto the map. Does mean he won't have it to try and
Izayaki.
catch down a kill. We'll trade the rally, being sustained for now. That's expired. AimCod has a slight overlap. Beat available for Fixer. Lee Jae-gon is about to match. Fury and Void, they're the next critical ultimate. But Lip snipes Carpe! Slides aggressively into the fight. Those railgun headshots are complete beat killers. Doesn't matter how quickly you use the beat, you'll still go down to one of them. Zest and HuRyu trading back and forth, 2-1 in favor of HuRyu. Genji Master still reigning supreme. Goes for the pullback, overtime ticks down.
Wow.
Dragons keep control, force it to 100, and we go to the final round.
Yeah, that was great by Lip. Really good stuff. I think that's not even the first time that he had that specific shot onto Carpe. Oh, the orange and the red here clashing really makes me feel some type of way. Shanghai Dragons take us to a third round on Lighthouse. And this time Dragons felt a lot more in control of the map. 99 to 99 on well, but this one was a lot more Dragons favored in some way. Still reasonably competitive both ways, given the amount of fights that Fusion were able to actually win there, pushing the Dragons. Why are you starting to get away from the rest of the pack now, though, at 12 final blows? I mean, he is 12 out of 23 total for Dragons, so does say a lot about his impact so far on the map.
It's a race to the high ground. No doubt HuRyu's going to go find out Zest and then go trade shurikens back and forth. Turns his attention over to Fury for the time being. Even Lee Jae-gon's getting on the action to try and dethrone them from the high ground, force them down low and create some vulnerable positions. Lip found Carpe again! He can't keep getting away with this! And that kills all the momentum that Fusion had. They've nowhere close to having a return kill go their way. As they get point for the Fixer! What a shot from Lip! Sniping Fixer out of the sky, slides forward aggressively. They got the point capture they wanted. Fusion have to fight their way out of the spawn.
That is disgusting stuff coming on through. Don't do it to him, Fixer. Got away with his life that time. God, if Lip hit that shot, that would have been it. I mean, I think Fusion would be boomed after that, but Fusion will stay in it.
Yeah.
Trying to catch back up. Lip's on 63%. He's outpacing HuRyu. It's rare to see a Sojin outpace a Genji and ult charge in this meta. But there it is.
There's quick kills coming in. Zest not having the strongest of starts on round number 3. Kept in check for a while. HuRyu uncontested in the corridor. Picking up all these kills. Fusion, I know you joked around how Lip's headshot might boom them, but at this rate it looked pretty boomed as it is.
Certainly for 2 fights in a row. Still time to work with, though. 50% gone, so half of that is expired. HuRyu will have Blade before anybody in the Fusion can do anything. Zest is only at 51. Fixer's on 58, so you can basically forget about countering this. Aim God, if he stays alive, maybe gets his rally up. You're at this point hoping for the greatest whip shot, the greatest boot coming from Fixer to prevent HuRyu from getting the damage done. And even without that, Lip can use his ultimate as well.
Quick.
Straight afterwards.
Lightning fast. Carpe just on the descent. Couldn't move. Vulnerable in the air to HuRyu's Blade. Lip finds Fixer again. Oh my god. Don't chase him off the map to try and get the kill. Zest dashes straight back into the hands of Izayaki. Dominating performance from the Dragons here. Final fight. It's going to be the final attempt here.
They might 100% because they're going to continue snowballing because Carpe's too far off the overclock. He's been having no impact on this round. Fixer's still extremely far off, as is Fury. At this point, Shanghai Dragons hit the 99% mark with ultimates coming online, including overclock being held on to, and Fusion can only hope for the best with this one rally.
Pushing forward, Lip has overclock.
Took a shot from Lip.
With the skin of his life, needs to stay alive. The Blade is going to be big for the Fusion, they can pull it off. Right, you removed the raid boss, no Lip on the map. You've got yourselves a Blade on the cusp of being emerged. Rampage available as well. Beat this is it, Fusion. This is your fight. You found Void, couple more, and that's it. And you get to retain those important ultimates to start your campaign of defense. But you've got a long way to go. You've got to hit the hundo from here.
I mean, Zest in his own way is a bit of a raid boss from the Philly Fusion side. He's definitely no level 1 crook. And now, 4 ultimates coming online off the back of some major heroics from Zest. I mean, that was a rally from Aim God to save the map for Fusion. And now Zest off the cuff is going to take down Lee Jae-gon, slowing down the re-approach from the Shanghai Dragons. Super important, a very cheap skirmish win there. And they need everything. They need everything they can hold on to here for the Fusion because it's a long road to make a comeback on this map.
Yeah, you want to be able to try and cycle through these ultimates, buy some time to get angled, to get the rally online. You got a Rampage from Void. It's a big tool if you want to try and burn them rather than go for the full buffet. Lip on the back foot immediately. Gonna convert it immediately. Zest smelt blood in the water with that one. Pulls out the Dragon Blade, gets the reset. Fury finds HuRyu as well. No resources really committed here from the Shanghai Dragons. They've accepted their fate. and will just reset.
It's another cheap fight, though. I mean, if you can only just use one ultimate to win, that's kind of what you want is Fusion. So they want to fight off the rally, want to fight off the blade, sort of want to fight off just Zesk and Ilios gone as well, forcing a reset. We'll call that one just a skirmish. And 30-ish% away now, 29% away from the Fusion catching up, and Dragon's kind of waiting for this final fight. They might have to kind of wait until the 99% mark to get the fight they're looking for. They still have plenty of ultimates themselves. They've been also working on that. They've been banking up. They might, I think they're disengaging, yeah. So they're disengaged.
Yeah, they're going to wait out.
No, they're coming back in.
Well, they use the Rampage, only finds Zest. Really need to convert this one though. Who are you? Pulls out the blade. Beat immediately comes out from Fixer. Good answer. Fury shuts him down. Ilios Gon's beat comes in too late to save him. Lip, you've been a saving before. That's a huge Rampage from Fury. And that might be the map winner right there because no one touches and the Fusion take the lead in this series.
Wow, what a way to end things out. They were struggling. It was a 0-99 comeback from the Philly Fusion on Lighthouse, but off the back of hard work from Zest and a very miraculous rally coming through from AimGod as well. Fusion will be able to snowball their way forward. Fury with the game-ending, map-ending, map-winning Rampage to get it done. Shanghai Dragons with no answers. Who are you? Could do nothing with this blade versus a full sound barrier from Fixer. Fusion take the lead.
2-1 scoreline on that round. 1-0. If it's anything like history has already indicated, Avril, we might be looking at a 3-0 series for the Fusion, but looking at how these two teams are playing today, they got plenty more gas in the tank. Join us after the break. Fusion take an early lead in this series against the Shanghai Dragons. It went down to the wire on Ilios, but ultimately it was a big Fury rampage to close things out there and really send the Dragons packing after coming back from a 99% deficit, I believe, for the Fusion.
A lot of zest in the middle there to get them to a position to finish things out, and with a map for the Fusion, I think saving the day in many cases, slowing down the Dragons. Multiple fights in a row there that ended up being pretty cheap for the Fusion, right? We had a single fight one with the Rally, single fight one with a Blade, single fight one with just a solo kill from Zest, and by the time that Shanghai got to the 99, very fine margins where Huayu's Blade got countered by Fix's Sound Barrier, and the Philadelphia Fusion ends, like you mentioned there, with the big rampage from Fury. Very competitive so far. That does now end the map win streak for the Shanghai Dragons. I think it's quite rare to see a team go as far as Seoul Dynasty have gone in terms of 12-0 maps so far, none lost this entire stage. So maybe hoping for a little bit too much with Dragons to be able to match that one, but Dragons still have the opportunity to win this series and match the Seoul Dynasty. Otherwise, Shanghai Dragons are going to start falling behind. Philadelphia Fusion start catching up, and the race to see who gets to retain a top 4 position between, I think, Spark and Fusion is the current battle between 4 and 5 is going to be very important.
Yeah, all to play for both of these teams. I mean, especially Dragons. I think if Dragons actually end up losing here, Avril, I think that they aren't going to be able to get first place. I feel like the map difference alone would actually end up putting Seoul above them, assuming that they all win the rest of their matches this series in this stage, right?
Yeah, I think Seoul have got enough maps won now that the map differential is going to carry Seoul in the standings as far as seedings go. I don't think seeding is going to be the most dire thing for this tournament, given that if you are the 2 best teams, if it is Shanghai and Seoul that are meant to be the 2 best teams, they'll get to the finals regardless. Seoul's pathway, you'd imagine, might be slightly easier, but that's all conjecture that we can sort of rely on later on when we find out how that will all fall. Right now, we don't even know who 4th seed is going to be because Fusion hold on to it, but other teams are slowly trying to catch up and find that position. And like I said, with Charge losing today, maybe Spark could contest for it. A 3-3 finish for one of those teams. And for Philly Fusion, I think they're still in a position where they can get a 4-2 finish because they've only lost 1 series so far. Even if they lose the Dragons, they can still finish 4-2. If they beat the Dragons, they are very, very likely to finish 4-2, if not 5-1. Or actually, that would require them to beat Seoul. So you know what? Just 4-2. You know, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We'll stay at 4-2 if they beat the Shanghai Dragons.
All right, opening pick attempt from Lip. We'll go back over to the Sojourn as Shanghai Dragons go on their offense here for Hollywood. Valiant really struggled with this map earlier in the day. Don't think we'll see the same difficulty from either of these 2 teams to already break through that first initial choke, and Huayu's playing. He's playing catch, shall we say, with Zest right now, except they're throwing shurikens at each other instead. Fixer taken out by Void. Not a great start for Fusion at all. Shanghai Dragons in a prime position to be able to get a very quick point A capture on this one. They've locked him in the tiny Overwatch room. Only Zest finding a trade back onto Izayaki. That's it. Looks like Dragons have got control of this payload.
Fixer comes back, just dies away straight away, leads you on picking up that final blow, so that would be, you'd say almost 6 frags there for the side of Shanghai Dragons, but 2 of them ended up being on to Fixer indeed, and pretty sure the only member died there for Dragons was Izayaki, so 1 trade via Zest on his way out picked up Izayaki, but a single frag onto Fixer from the very beginning due to Void will give the 5v4 to Dragons in that neutral, allowing a pretty flawless cap on through. Now let's see what kind of momentum we gain as we start moving through the streets of B. Only Huayu significantly ahead. Well, actually, Lee Jig-on a fair bit ahead of Fixer as well. Could be important.
No doubt, coming from that kill conversion they got on Fixer at the end. Fixer's 2 quick deaths. Really making him trail at the moment. Goes up to the skybox. Zest just retreating back to the team, not able to stay on the low ground. Payload not really obstructed that much, but now's the point to start putting the brakes on.
It's kind of reaching
very slowly.
The T-bone. Just the T-bone, the sort of, I don't know. I can't think of the word right now, but we're thinking about this fight going through, and Aim God is heading towards a very good position. As I say that, guys on 99, that is not what you want to see from the Fusion Fury, because that could have been a rally that really changes things.
Oh, 100% could have been a momentum changer, as Izayaki still catching up with that one. No ultimates used here by the Dragons. They have an advantage. They don't want to have to use it just yet as they're putting this payload in the final sections. Nice top up there for Fury, who's trying to stay alive, maybe be able to cut to kill. Oh, he gets the jagged knife at the end to do some damage, but I think it's Carpe who finishes off Who Are You. So there are some trade backs there. Payload relatively unstopped right now. Looks on the high ground, has an overclock available. Here's the rally from AimGod to merge the team through. AimGod out of the fight already just because that damage coming in from the overclock. Can't contest it. And they will be able to finally touch, but no one stays in range long enough, and that's point B being taken. This fight is inconsequential at this point.
5 and 10 moving forward. By the way, a T intersection is what I was looking for, maybe T junction. So, you know, that's what I was trying to get to, but we are way past that now. You know, Shanghai Dragons, they, you know, collect $200, do not go to jail, go straight to, I don't know, straight to collecting whatever Fusion have to sell here. And Fusion right now going to get a bit of a rebate. 2 players on the return. Dragons have a lot of ults. In fact, both teams have a lot of ults to play through, but we haven't had that one big ult fight yet. No. As it's just been kind of these, you know, neutral kills coming on through that have defined these fights, and you know, both teams, neither team really wants to commit in those situations. If you're winning, you don't want to overcommit ultimates into a fight you've already won. If you're losing, you don't want to throw away ultimates into a fight that you've already lost. This is likely going to be it now. Should be double blades traded for double barriers.
There you go. There's the blade from Who Are You. Oh, it's big from Void. It's big from Fury actually to find Void and the rest of the crew. The anti-heal's absolutely huge for Zest to try and go for a follow-up here, but they've only traded one apiece despite that impact coming in from Fury. It will stagnate again once more, but all those ultimates came out at once. Live fight Zest! Beautiful headshot there with the railgun.
I don't know if they can chase, so the problem is you see that Fusion have already gone back towards spawn. Dragons have to respect that. They can't overchase this situation. They have to wait for the payload. They have to be in a position to actually play the rest of this fight. Void still has that rampage because he died in the previous fight. 2 Fury's rampage didn't end up getting saved, unfortunately, but might be able to cash that in now in a much better fight. The further this payload goes, the better it gets, and the better it gets, the more that Lip frags as well.
Right, you're going to pull Fury into that one, then hit him with the Rampage. It's a solo Rampage onto the tank. They need to remove them from the field, get the conversion here. They will do just that. All staggered at the moment, so they will be playing at the spawn advantage. Zest still delaying. Carpe tries to get a look in with this overclock. Lip answers back with their own. They found Zest. They're blocking players in the corner. AimGod got absolutely shattered there. What a shot from Lip as he skirts through the sky.
Looks just better.
3 minutes left in the tank.
Lip is just better. You know it's rough when Carpe pulls the overclock, peeks Lip, and Lip just fires a rail onto Carpe and forces him to hide again. It's like, Carpe's the one ulting, but Lip is the one just shoving Carpe into the lock, and Lip then pulls to his own overclock, destroys everybody, and it's all over. But it starts from Void's rampage that he held on to, died within a previous fight, but even on that previous fight, Dragons sort of still turned it around, which is wild to me. And then you'd think, okay, well, solo rampage, not the best thing in the world, certainly not the sexiest ult you've seen, but because it catches Fury and they capitalize and actually jump on top of Fury, collect that kill, guarantee that Fury goes down. It's a 5 versus 4. Fusion try to hold on, but it's too difficult. Fury comes back on a Doomfist to no avail. The Shanghai Dragons had all the momentum ready to push it towards the end, and 302, by the way, Trid even includes the fight or two that Fusion were able to slow down. I know they want to fight on C, so there's at least something there for them to work with. So it's not a complete 100% fight win percentage for the Shanghai Dragons from A to C. They actually did have some slowdowns in there, but even so, 302.
It's a big bank to play with. It's a huge bank to play with. Philadelphia Fusion. Let's just worry about completing for now. And then we'll worry about the time bank afterwards. You only have to worry about that big 302 if you do complete. So, shots from Carpe, going to attempt it, but then backs off immediately. We'll change over to Sojourn as expected. There are a lot of snipers on the board. Even Zest went for the Hanzo to see if they could get a cheeky little pick there.
The Hanzo is more for scouting, because I think teams sometimes hide in the sort of left-right. Yeah. I don't know if they're hotels, but like, you know, the left-right buildings, they can do something sneaky there, or even if it's just one player trying to do something weird. But sniping, just to see if anyone peeks that, you get a 1-player pick, ends up being pretty worth. So, Fusion taking this one slowly, just taking a little bit of the middle high ground as they work towards Cafe. Dragons have lost a lot of space. Void has lost half his HP.
To be sustained, but Void claps back. Under pressure, but still converts the kill onto Zest. QRU goes down low, will sustain throughout the fight. Both damage dealers off the ball for the Fusion. Not a good start. Full reset coming in here for Philly.
Yeah, it's another 5 frags for the Shanghai Dragons with only 1 death. It's Izayaki again who ends up being the sacrificial lamb. He's the target of the Fusion. He will get killed, probably taxied back in half a second here as well, so that there's not going to be that much of a window for the Fusion to work with. But as we saw from Void's HP there, he was half HP, very low, but still somehow managed to get a kill onto Zest while under pressure. That's very impressive from Void. It allows now the Shanghai Dragons to continue defending A, giving HuaYu an opportunity to build a very fast blade. Fixer's trying to keep up here. Maybe Fixer can catch up to HuaYu, but he needs to, because otherwise HuaYu's going to have a very high impact blade that can't be counted.
I don't know how the catch-up's going to work just yet, especially if they use these ultimates on tempo. HuaYu's 11% away right now. Point. Accruing generation for the time being, but they're not able to get a third of it just in locking that progress. QRU Blade's going to be online now.
They push Fusion back, so from a positional standpoint, this is like kind of fine. Here we go.
Used it on tempo.
Oh no!
Go for it.
What is that dash? He took the dash.
Oh, he went the wrong way with that one. And Zest picks up Lip in the Carnage. Oh no! One Genji Blades, the other picks up 3 kills! Carpe and Zest turned it around for Philly, break the hold, get a team kill, and get the payload in motion.
That's a rare mechanical error from HuaYu. You don't normally see that from him. Dashes into the tree. What is going on there? And it's like, oh, I'm stuck. That's the blade advantage. By the way, Fusion didn't even end up using the ults. I don't think they had half their ults available, but didn't get to use anything. So it ends up just being a wasted play from HuaYu into a fight loss. It gives Fusion the cap. Now Fusion trying to snowball with what they can.
Takes a shot. A few pop shots for the time being. Has the overclock available if they need it. Set up on the high ground for now.
This ends now.
Alright, here we go. Overclock used by Lip.
Oh, where we
Immediately has a face. Takes out Carpe, but he had pressure from Zest. It wasn't as if that was free before he takes both of them out. Well managed there. They still have 3 ults to use. Oh, don't find the Jagged Knife connection. They're keeping Fury out of spawn. They're not going to be able to convert it though.
If HuaYu can't get it done to the play, Lip will do it on the overclock, and now they are going to spawn camp. At minimum, this is going to force a lot of ultimates by Fusion. Actually, the best thing the Dragons can do is maybe use 1 support ultimate and trade that for up to 3 ultimates from Fusion. That would be a strong economical game.
Void's isolated from the team, pushes forward. Oh no, his team's right behind him actually. He's going to use that to emerge out. Catches Fixer, who had a beat available, but Lip snipes Fury in the Carnage. Zest pulls out the blade to try and mitigate it, finding 2. So he will be able to break this spawn hold. Dragons still lingering around. They're okay to take a slightly staggered reset because they have plenty of territory to be able to reaffirm their defense.
It's a 2-2 trade, which is not the most ideal for Dragons, but they still get the sort of sub-goal there of what the point of the spawn camp is, which is to burn time down. So a 2-2 trade for some time burnt. Just an okay result for the Dragons. It does also give a lot of space for Fusion, though, on their push, given they have Saloon. Now, how does Lip do it?
Oh,
how is he just sniping Carpe time and time again? This is like 2 fights in a row that he's done this.
He just keeps getting away with it all the time. Good space generation there to get Zest away from him. Disrupt the shot as well. Mitigates the ground force.
Oh, he's not done.
Nice rampage going to 3, but Fusion can't convert that. They'd already lost 2 when they committed the rampage there. What is Fury doing?
Well, he's trying to save the day. He's trying to make the hero play happen, and part of me understands it. And look, if it worked, you'd be calling him a genius, but unfortunately here it ends up being a wasted ultimate, so that's kind of how the coin falls. Sometimes you get heads, other times it will be tails. With a 1 minute 30 left to go, Shanghai Dragons back in control. They have the general store. Rooftop contained. Zest takes it. That must have been a rail from Lip again. Zest just got domed. Well, if he got domed, he would have died, so I guess he just got shot. But in any case, took him low. Oh, they're just bullying Carpe. They're bullying him.
Yeah, just dashing through all the time on this one. HuaYu finding 2 kills. It's all over as they're just going to get the cut down. 1 minute remaining. They got an overclock and a rally. They might be able to get beaten Blade if the fight gets staggered. Fury being bullied a little bit. They're trying to burn as much time as possible here. And they will finally cut him down. And they're just picking up more kills. Hang on a minute. They were just getting a stagger on Fury, and when the team came in to reinforce, they cut them all down in their wake.
And Lip specifically snipes Carpe again. We got to call the Cyberbullying Commission about this one. They don't want Carpe to play the game today. But beyond that, Ilios just killed everybody else. They spawn camping with 30 seconds left, which means for the Fusion, it's going to have to be 4v5 because somebody's got to touch the payload. You know, they can't all be fighting the Dragons here, but Dragons are going to force them.
This ends now.
Someone's managed to break through. Dragons have retreated. Gain in respect. There's Lip with the overclock. There's Carpe to get the first snipe. Straight back to Dave. Carpe! Lip is just insane! He's cracked!
He's on 6
Check his PC! Check his HP and check his PC as Fixer, as expected, makes it a 4v5 by going for the back cap. Can use the beat just to stall out longer. Yeah, stall it out, try and wait for the reinforcements to come in. The Blade's there from Zest, he ran into the Rampage from Void.
Wait a minute. Winnable.
Trade them back down.
It's a 4v4,
It is
there's still a
winnable.
sound barrier in the round. They have to use these.
Yep, there's the sound barrier. Rally's still available for Izayaki. Wait for it.
Oh, Carpe's got left.
Using the rally as well.
The tables have turned.
Finally. It's about time he got some just desserts with that one, but they still haven't dealt with the other boss on this team, which is Who Are You's Genji. He cuts through aim god. Fixer will do what they can, stay on the points. There's the Blade whip out. The cut through as well. The Shanghai Dragons take map number 2, and they break history, as we will be guaranteed to not have a 3-0 this series.
I know. I mean, it was looking like... I would have said it anyway that if having Fusion won that first map, I think Shanghai good enough as a meta to bounce back. But yeah, in the last 5 series, we've not had a 4th map between these two teams, and we'll finally be granted that. Fusion have broken Shanghai's potential map win streak to catch up to Seoul, but Fusion themselves end up losing Hollywood. It is a very competitive series so far, and Shanghai Dragons, like the Empire striking back, that was a very decisive blow on map number 2.
2 maps down, plenty more to go. Little bit of lip difference coming in for the Shanghai Dragons so far. We'll find out if that continues after this break.
This ends now.
We're all tied up here in Philadelphia Fusion versus Shanghai Dragons, the last game today for the East region. Dragons' map streak has been ended. They can't match the Seoul Dynasty at the moment anyway, and they can't do it at this stage. Philadelphia Fusion, by having that 1-0 and 1-0 for Shanghai Dragons, means that we are breaking history, breaking the streak of 3-0s that historically have plagued these two teams. We're guaranteed at map number 4, but let's have a look ahead to map number 3. Avril, it's going to be an escort type. I believe we're going over to Junkertown again.
Very cool. And we'll see if anybody changed anything up. The last time any of these guys made a substitution was New Queen Street all the way back when versus Valiant. So here you go for the people like, oh, where's MN3? So they subbed MN3 for New Queen Street versus Valiant, and he lost badly to the Valiant. So that's what happened there. Other than that, this has been the lineup for both teams. This is the lineup. Everyone's just played only this, and let's give Fusion a chance. They did win our first map. Great comeback. Have to put the respect on the fact that Ilios was a 99-0, but then a 0-99 comeback from Fusion is no small feat. Moving to Junkertown, we got a really good look at Junkertown just earlier in terms of what teams are doing on this map and how they are playing it. Now, I do have a question for Philadelphia Fusion in terms of whether they will consider taking a bit of a page out of Becky's book as far as playing the Echo. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for the whole map, but maybe at least for a little bit of the map on C, because I know Zest has a pretty phenomenal Echo in there as well. Carpe's thinking about this Ashe also, which is something that other teams have considered running on maps like this. Especially on A, I think the Ashe has good value, just a lot of long sightlines, right? So I can see that working out pretty well for them in theory. See if they can execute in practice to make that really give them the dividends that they're looking for.
Consider the railgun before you decide.
They'll,
and by the way, as Lip Surgeon says, consider the railgun before you decide.
Yeah.
Consider the railgun. Very wise words. You actually couldn't have timed that voice line better.
I think Carpe has had enough time to consider Lip's railgun, in particular. The amount of times they've been on the receiving end of it this series so far. Sleep Dart attempt there from Main God will go back to what you expect him to, which will be the Brigitte. Mirror composition once more.
And Carpe has indeed considered the railgun. And he's like, you know what? That's a good call, Lip. That is a very good call. Because Lip can do things like that on the railgun.
And just remove Fixer and all momentum in this push. It's fantastic.
Let me just remove
Who could have seen
a
that one
player.
coming? Yep.
You ever just removed a player just through sheer will? It's like 5v5? No, I think you'll just play with 4 actually.
You open up the debug commands.
Carpe unlocked the remove a player DLC. He's got it. He's cashed his Blizzbox in. He's doing it now. He's removing players.
Put in the debug command, put in the code, remove player, and then put it into Lip, who's now off the field. It's a change of pace for Carpe. Payload from the Fusion being pushed through has actually managed to beat that choke point as well. This is quite good for Philly. So on that home stretch is now...
Look at the position. Shanghai, they're kind of in a weird positioning at the moment. Huh? In particular is just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. He needs to get healed up.
Okay, so while that happens, Lip does Lip things and Zest gets removed instead. 5v4 for the Shanghai Dragons. Looking for that next remove player command.
There it is.
Comes in the form of Lee J. God. Fury just beats it out of him. Very fitting for the Junker Queen. They're on the hunt now for Fury. He's running a little bit low. He'll box in this tiny corner. Who are you? Off the side of the map.
He's fine.
Doesn't have the dash available, but can get the double jump in. Immediately to be shot by Carpe, though. It's very messy so far. Carpe finding a second. No damage dealers for Dragons. And the Fusions are primed to be able to go ahead and get this over the line and get point A.
Yo, Carpe heard people talking smack. He's showing up now. He's got the 3 frags in the last fight. Very important kills. 2 minutes left to go. They will get this cap. Shanghai Dragons not at all in a position to touch. And there it is. Fusion on the ball. Double support ultimates available just in time for who are you, Zest. Slightly further behind than that, but he's at least way ahead of Lee Jae Gon, who has been struggling so far in this opening. Can't really catch up to the ultimate, so that missing sound barrier, and it's missing by a fair margin, by the way. It's worth a lot.
Like how Carpe heard the Fusion fans going, "Where's MN3?" But he's going to answer that himself from himself with the Sojourn. Have a great performance so far. Zest has the blade available, but there's a lot of ultimates on the side of the Dragons. Zest over the top, drops down. Nice get away from his He's using the rally, but he can't escape the damage 3 times in a row. Who are you? They pulled out their own blade. They had to fight against the rally and still couldn't convert as Fury finds the second of the fight. Here's cleanup. Fusion keep on trucking through Junkertown.
Yeah, it's good. Momentum. They might even cap this. Like, Shanghai are just not in a position. This is a gigantic snowball from A to B. Only a single fight onto B, and Fusion will lock it down. That is extremely good progress. Just under 5 minutes walking to C as well. Lee Jae-gon's, by the way, still working on his first sound barrier. Certainly just about to come online now, in line with Void getting this Rampage. Fury's waiting to use his Rampage. Now the test for Carpe. He's hit some shots so far, but can he do it in the overclock as well?
Good Rampage. Finds 4. B comes out from Lee Jae-gon as expected. No conversion from the Fusion. Lip up on the high ground. Carpe still holding on to the overclock. Gates are now shut. Does shut down the route of
they're backing up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Fusion have given up a lot of space here. I think they're trying to maybe re-attack from the high ground instead. But no matter what happens, Void's in position to get a monstrous Rampage, assuming he doesn't just get booped. It's an interesting decision by the Fusion to give that up.
Aim God.
Lee Jae-gon.
Down warriors for the team. Carpe finds Lee Jae-gon! Another opener for Carpe. Aim God's the only one who's the victim of Void's Rampage. Victor just playing clean up for the 2. Well, they'll escort him in. Lip takes out Zest, and it's a consolation prize now as the payload will get to this
That's
turnstile.
not even like, that's not even really a feed from Lee Jae-gon. I know it looks like he entered there, but every Lucio plays that same spot. They're trying to boot players coming out of the window. The problem is, you have to make it out alive after making that play, whether like Iziaki just tries to double pack him or Lee Jae-gon just like, I don't know, has really good movement in the air or something, but we've seen so many Lucios play that position. It is risky. High risk, high reward, I guess, and Lee Jae-gon pops the L there, and Shanghai Dragons, as a result, will end up losing a fight. Throw at the ready now for Lip. Need to see a shot coming on through. It has been a bit of a slow. Remember, we started with about 5 minutes, now down to 3. So at least Shanghai Dragons are pulling down the time. It's what they need.
Keep up on the turnstile and Zest getting towards that blade. There's a tempo rally coming in. Lee Jae-gon blows the eardrums out with Zest.
Rally's gone.
Yeah, this is not good for Fusion. They understand the situation they're in. They're paying respect. They're dipping out of this one. Counter shot comes in from Carpe. Still alive. There will be the lead from Void to finish them off. And finally, the Dragons get to reset properly.
And Void's walking up. Okay, he's thinking about walking up. They're going to at least, I don't know, be annoying in this high ground a little bit. They're going to do the same thing again. So I believe Lee Jae-gon is, can't quite tell from this angle, perhaps going to be playing. Well, Huayu's definitely going to be there. They're all roughly in the area. I don't know if Lee Jae-gon will play the same angle twice in a row. But 2 minutes left now in either case. Here comes Zest. Huayu with the play as well.
Yep. Walks to the back line for Zest. Huayu's blade gets called off early just for Fury. Called out a knife. He has a knife. Zest doesn't get anyone with the blade, but dealt a lot of pressure. Catches Lip with the skid. 1 minute 50 left on the clock. Home stretch for the Fusion.
I don't know if they can cap it here, though, because respawn advantage is going to be real for the Shanghai Dragons. It's going to be Rampage plus the sound barrier. Fury would love to use his own Rampage, but it should get counted out unless they can just snipe Lee Jae-gon. Very defendable here. Lee Jae-gon is getting quite far forward. He's going to stay alive. Zest not willing to chase just yet. Oh my god, he's on one. They can't lose Lee Jae-gon.
Oh, the shout doing wonders there, but Lip catches him with the overclock. Oh dear, this was the one thing they didn't want to happen. And Lee Jae-gon follows up on the Carpe as well. Last push for them. They're going to recover themselves, get the marbles back in the bag.
So getting a little bit tragic. Again, they had 5 minutes walking on C. They're about to lose all 5 of that. This could be an OT push. Even if Philly can actually cap this map in the final minute, it still will be questions put on the table. Like, well, what's going on for 5 whole minutes? And they better finish this map because it's a lot of time to work through. It's just been made slowdown. Shanghai Dragons have been seriously putting Fusion to the blade, and here it is. Lip once again proving that he will out-snipe Carpe.
Just burns more of the time bank, makes this more dire for the Fusion. Rampage, Rally. Gonna have the overclock as well to work with. One more shot for the Fusion to try and get this over the line and get some completion. They burn as much time as they can now. Now's the time to move in.
15 seconds. OT confirmed.
Ready to go.
Who are you can get played this fight as well, for what it's worth. This rally is going to have to be huge. And God's trouble.
God tries to cancel it early. Doesn't find a connection, but he will get it with the gun instead. Fury goes back with one of their own. Who are you in Void on the Nakash? Who are you dies before getting the blade out?
It's just
and
Fury.
Izayaki will just try and keep them away. Fury won't touch, and the Dragons end the Fusion's run. Point C, most of the way through. Dragons have their benchmark for the offensive.
And it's very low numbers at the end there, but Lip with a couple of frags towards the end. They delete Aim God's rally off the cuff. It's not the greatest rampage in the world, but Void in some ways, you could argue, found the most important member. The one support ultimate that they did have was the one player that they ended up having lost in that fight due to a solo rampage and then a lot of damage being piled on top of Aim God after that. The green HP, not enough to keep him alive, and as the dust settles once more, it is Lip that will finish things off, and Dragons, they will hold for 5 whole minutes. And Philly might have pushed through A very comfortably. B, even better. B, they put up their feet. They were sipping whatever beverage you imagine that I'm about to say.
Juice.
I don't know. Whatever beverage you enjoy.
They were sipping on juice boxes.
But C?
Out of sippy cups.
C was something different. Shanghai woke up. Shanghai reset Fusion multiple times. And this is the thing about Junkertown, is it can be difficult to cap C. But at the same time as well, I think, you know, with 5 minutes, you really should be able to cap it. You really should be able to get it in there. Which is why it's a little upsetting to see that they're not going to be able to. I was even going to mention that even if, and I did mention that even if they had capped it in the OT, questions would still be asked, but at least they would cap here. It's going to be the Shanghai Dragons. Do they check the right side? Because you'll notice that when Carpe and the Fusion roll out of spawn, the Hanzo Sonic this right side hut to check for people playing there, and that's kind of why they use the Hanzo at the start. But yeah, Dragons just kind of walk on out, swap sides, so now Fusion are defending.
Carpe's found Izayaki. Really takes the wind out of the sails. They can pick up a few kills here, and they have a little bit longer to play around with this spawn hold.
Just a minor amount of payload distance gained there as well, but not enough, not a lot. And you'll call that a fight win for the Fusion. Even if it's a minor one, the Fusion don't have to back out just yet. Very tricky situation here as well, as Lip has full open angle. Does he hit a shot though? Izayaki will.
Kind of easy to hit the shield bash, don't they?
You take those.
Yeah, you take those all the time. As you do a kill box. You did exactly what the Fusion walked into there as the Dragons clean that up. Now get themselves onto the final stretch.
One more fight though.
A.
There will be one more. I don't think
the
payload's not going to make it in time. As you can see, the Fusion will be able to get themselves into action. That's kind of the benefit of spawn camping, is that you guarantee 2 fights on A regardless of what happens. And there should be ultimates coming online this fight as well. Who are you and Carpe being the 2 leading members? DJ God actually not that far behind. What a kill! Izayaki again, shutting down Zest 2 in a row.
Honestly, just being a demon right now to the Genji. What are the supports doing on the side of the Dragons? They're just animals right now. They're picking up everything. Who are you trying their hardest to get on the board?
People will say that Lee Jae-gon feeds, but on the other side of that coin, he frags out. Like, he's actually going for the kills. He's really getting thick in. Just getting stuck in the mud. As he actually has 6 final blows, which is on par with Void. And actually 4 more final blows than Who Are You. Would you believe that Who Are You is on 2 final blows and Lee Jae-gon's on 6? That's my guy. That's my guy right there. That's my frog. Running in and fragging. Tail is all his time, Tred. Tail is all his time.
Yeah. Yep. They had the debug command. Remove Carpe. Did it again. Overclock available. Goes forward on this
Open
one.
console / remove Carpe. Yep. I see.
Yep, it's the classic. You always love to see it. Rally pop by Izayaki. Aim God answers back. Blade from Who Are You? Lip beats him to the punch with the railgun shot. Just slashing in this corner, both the axe and the blade being used. Fusion are just not awake this
tell you
round.
what.
They are just not awake.
Dragons saw that Fusion's had a 5-minute time bank. And we might take that ourselves. We might get one of those ourselves, actually. And you better know that Lee Jagon's going to run in for that kill. Yeah, this is Lee Jagon we're talking about. That's my frog right there. He's going for that frag, you know it. 100 HP. Could get one shot by Carpe. No. Be going
It's
for the
cracking
kill.
me up every time you say that's my frog. Why it's just breaking me. Now, they've got the sizable timeout to play with. Not quite 5 minutes, but close enough. They need to do it to the flex. If they complete it with loads to spare, it's kind of a like, well, this is how you do it, lads. This is what you should have done. Carpe does have the overclock, though. Let's see if they can get some accuracy on the board. Lips using theirs preemptively. Zest is in their face. Really struggling. Rampage catches Lip as well. Lip has not gone down. So much attention paid onto the Sojourn. And they were able to deflect the onslaught and turn it back.
Yeah,
amazing play by the Dragons there to keep Sojourn up.
5-0's off. 5-0. They get 5 kills, lose nobody there. Pushing on through. This is snowballing. Now we're pod racing. 4 minutes left to go. Fusion have yet to do any legitimate damage and slow down towards the Shanghai Dragons. I think that opening spawn camp fight was the best fight for Fusion so far, where they actually forced Dragons back into spawn since then. It's all been about Dragons. Zest can't even contest the high ground because Easyaki just whips them right off.
Boy, taking out the sky. He's going to find Zest. Easyaki getting Fixer. Someone needs to step on the payload and stop it. Fury has to be the body, but they're all alone right now. Blade being popped by Zest. Has a dash, might be able to get there, but he's been blocked at the door by Who Are You? No one touches. Dragons clean it up. Take us to match point heading into our 4th map.
It's a tragic loss for Fusion. I don't know. Like they had a reasonable attack coming on through until it wasn't, until they got locked up right, and then their defense was entirely missing. Multiple parts of it were missing. I mean, Lip just had his way with Fusion. We even saw, on B there, the Ajax onto Fixer, where Lip is just firing rails at everybody. Just nothing can come online. Their ultimates are not coming online. The frags seem to be missing. Just I don't know, a very forgettable map for the Philadelphia Fusion. Sadly, Shanghai Dragons, once they started to get a roll, they got a roll. It was a long map because it took 5 minutes for the Shanghai Dragons to defend C, but after that, they kind of speed ran through their attack.
Well, hopefully we'll speed run through this break because we've got Colosseo waiting for you on the other side. So Shanghai Dragons are now at match point after a dominant performance on Junkertown, showing they can get it done with the 5 minutes on point C. We now look ahead to our fourth map of the series. It's push type. We're going over to Colosseo, and if the momentum is still with the Dragons after that break, then we could be seeing them close out the series here.
Just a very different map. I mean, I would say that both A and B played similarly for both teams as far as attacking and defending goes, but by the time you got to C, there's two different teams playing that game. And Colosseo, it's going to be a very interesting one because momentum-wise, Dragons have had, generally speaking, the better momentum in terms of their ability to snowball, and push maps, all about the snowball. Colosseo, a very hard map to cap through as well in terms of getting checkpoint or finishing. Not saying that Dragons will finish, but in terms of finding that first checkpoint, you know, if Dragons can unlock that sort of snowball potential, I mean, they can be the team to find the first checkpoint, which, in terms of percentage chance for winning, really improves the chances by quite a significant margin.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the players to get back into the lobby. Don't know if we'll have any substitutions. I'm not likely to see that, I don't think. I mean, Shanghai Dragons have played phenomenally so far, even when they've been losing.
Unless the Dragons want to get a little bit silly, you know, unless they...
Some silliness?
Moon's like, you know what? Yeah, we're kind of winning. Why not? Why not?
Do you risk it, though?
Hey?
Is it worth the risk? Is the silliness worth it? Are you being too silly here, maybe?
You never know what Moon's gonna do. Really, you never know. Swap a couple people around. I don't know, put Fate on Lucio. Put Bebe on Jungle Queen. Mix it up a little bit, give Fusion a bit of hope. Take a lot away in the map 5 after clowning on map 4 and doing silly stuff.
Are you suggesting that Moon would give them hope just to take it away and just make it even more shocking?
He's the kind of guy that would pick.
Fans?
He's the kind of guy that would pick Shock first in 2021 playoffs, when they were far easier opponents. He's that kind of guy. So really, there's no limit.
I mean,
the Moon's the limit, really, for that guy. So I don't know.
That is a lot of silliness. A lot of silliness at play there.
I don't know. We are seeing some things going on in the lobby. You guys can't see it, but I'm just peeping over. And there's a little bit of movement in the lobby. That doesn't mean they are guaranteed to make substitutions here. Could just be players reconnecting. I know Shanghai Dragons, sometimes they have internet issues, so it could just be players reconnecting in. But you know, I like to fantasize about you know, Dragons being this far ahead and just doing silly things to lose a map, because why not?
Do you really want? Do you want the 5th map? Is that what you're looking for here, Avril?
I probably don't personally. I don't know. Maybe I do. But here's the thing: if we get the 5th map, I want it legitimately. I want it to. I want it with Fusion beating Dragons at their best. If we go to 5, right? Otherwise, it's just a. Otherwise, it don't count in my book.
Silly.
Don't count.
Doesn't count in your book, no. Okay. Well, we're just waiting for Lip to get into the lobby. When Lip's in, we can start. I am going to start naming players. I don't tolerate tardiness.
Let's talk about Lip a little bit. I think he's definitely leading the conversation so far. He was the only player. Scratch that. There were only 2 players that hit double digits on final blows. One of them is obviously Lip. The other one was Void. But Void only got 10. Lip got 14, and everybody else was below 10 on both teams. That includes Zest, includes Carpe, includes Who Are You, who, by the way, both our Genji players, which have been star-studded for our previous series, our previous maps, had a very quiet game. We didn't see that much out of Who Are You, didn't see much out of Zest. Strangely, we saw more out of Carpe than Zest or Who Are You. We saw a whole lot out of Lip. We saw a damn lot out of Lip indeed. Quite disgusting what he was managing to do. And then strangely saw a decent amount of kills from Lee Jae-gon and Izayaki. Izayaki shut down Zest a lot. I think that was maybe part of the reason why Zest went quiet on Junkertown, because Izayaki seemed to have his number, especially on the Dragon's attack, right? How many times did Zest just kind of get caught by Izayaki as the Brig, and then Lee Jae-gon just chasing people down as Ilios, getting frags as well. Wide distribution of kills coming through from the Dragons, but I think we are ready to move in, and, you know, I was just kidding about the substitutions, obviously, because why would they risk things, as you said, when they could just win 3-1? I think if Dragons were in Soul's position, they might do some silly stuff, but, like, Dragons know that they didn't have the most comfortable mid-season madness tournament. They know they're behind Soul, so time to catch up.
Now jumping onto Colosseo, as we said, is our 4th map. And you see the lineups roll out. And as you could expect, no changes to the composition on this one. Rolling out with the exact same thing.
Wow, no Bastion? Cowards.
Cowards. Cowards. No MN3 Ashe? Cowards.
I don't think you really want Ashe here. I think Sojourn's probably a little bit more pop-off. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm not too sure the MN3 Ashe would move the needle that much at the moment. And honestly, as I sort of mentioned on Junkertown, I think Carpe ended up being the best performing member statistically for the Fusion, so he definitely wasn't the issue there. So let's see how things go now. You have Lip and Zest contesting each other on the outside. It's quite interesting because it's not the 2 Genjis contesting, it's actually Lip Soji. It's pulled! Lip might die here. He got pulled by the knife.
Yeah, it's able to recover. That's quite nice from the Dragons to keep them up. We know how good they are keeping Lip alive in those situations where he is the focus of the fight.
Fury's keeping people honest.
To unlock. Yeah, now going to jump over to the point itself. Just keep it locked in the middle for now. Zest with 8 HP. And Lip finds Carpe! He used the debug command again, Avril. Someone needs to take away the admin privileges. As they find 2-for-1 trade, Void, the only person going down so far for the Dragons, but that's enough. The Dragons get the bot in motion.
Stop! It's too much! He finds
Zest as well! Oh!
Brother in Christ.
Still charging up.
Yeah,
I mean, I actually think
he's back.
We'll see rioting. We'll see rioting in the street if we don't give Lip player of the match at this rate, Avril.
If you feel like tremors in the ground and you're like, oh my god, is that an earthquake? No, it's just Lip stomping around Colosseo, stomping his way through the map. Doosh, doosh, just 8-foot man is fragging once again. 76% over towards the ult. 30 meters cap. It's reasonable. You take those. Fusion, though, at least have Zest on par with Who Are You, which is what you want to see. Both players ahead of the support so far.
Charging up. About time for railguns. You see Lip getting closer. The right click's ready. Oh, straight into the shield. Not going to find anyone this time. Bot gets to move forward, though. No one's contesting the bot while they're off it. He's just going to get free progress right now.
Too low HP. Shout into the blade. This has got to work for Zest.
He's out of the fight, though. He's not really in it right now. Void catches him on the exit. Now it's time for Who Are You's blade. But it looks like Lip is beating him to the punch. Void's getting on the board as well. Dragons have taken control of Colosseo firmly.
Fixer survived there as well, so I think he got the sound barrier maybe too late. Certainly didn't end up using that. He was the only survivor of that fight. Literally everyone else on the team died. So he'll be able to get this team back into action. I don't think Dragons are going to be able to cap the checkpoint off of the back of this, because Fusion are around the corner, but Fusion are not able to wait long. They got to get to the point quick. We're about to C9 the payload.
Still with the overclock. League uses beat as well. Oh, there you go. They got it. That's unfortunate. off the point the entire time. Fixer uses the beat to help reinvigorate Fusion into this fight. Playing around to disrupt the shots for the time being. Carpe gets in the face of Who Are You there.
This is
Trying to remove all the range from Sojourn. Yeah, just around the corner. Gonna have the Carnage be used. Fury finds one. Aim God gets loses as well, so we're gonna have one support traded for another. Rampage only finds Void, but everyone's so low on the Fusion, they can still turn it around. Dragons are in the capacity to do it. They go for a trade. The Fusion do get control of the bot right now. Spray down is enough. Couple of trade kills back and forth, but finally they get it.
Way too close for the Fusion, considering that they even burnt the extra Rampage. I was thinking like, oh man, this is probably a big win. Well, the Dragons should be killing Lee. No, surely. No, can't they? No, you had to kill him, dude. I mean, that's not going to be game-changing. Lee Jae-gon getting alive isn't going to be the difference of winning and losing in that, but like, I don't know, on a personal level, Lee Jae-gon was one, my dude. He was one. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Fury ended up expending the extra Rampage, right? I'm thinking if Dragons can just lose this fight but force an extra ultimate, that's a big win for the Dragons. Dragons ended up trading numbers very significantly there, to the point where maybe Dragons could have even come out through.
Okay.
Well, Kabe might have missed Lee Jae-gon, but he'll hit Lip.
Well, they're going to use the Rampage, actually. Take the 4v5. Void finds free with that one. I think it's enough. Fury's so low right now. Who Are You's actually even lower. Someone save him. Aim God. Not going to allow that hospital to come in and provide that premium care. Now he got another 4v5. It's just been extended again. You traded out Lip. Now you trade out Who Are You. He'll be able to get back to the fight a lot faster on the Genji. Now his Iaki's got down. It's just a cycle of people dying. But the problem is Fusion cannot convert this into progress until they have a more definitive fight win.
They're about to get their first meter. You ready?
Yeah. Ready for it?
Yay! Well, there you go. First meter for Fusion, 5 minutes deep. All right, here we go. 66 to catch up on, which means I think another 2 to 3 good fights here, depending on when Dragons actually contest. So, Dragons take a while to get in here. Fusion might be able to get the fight counter down to just 2. But again, getting that checkpoint is difficult. Izaki wasting no time stealing the Dragons. Not even going to allow Fusion to get 25.
Rally's traded. There's the blades. Who Are You versus Zest? Who can kill faster? Who Are You gets Carpe. Not much else. Zest finds no one with that one apart from a very low HP bar. Fury going to go down here as well. They can't sustain that. They've used all their supportive tools to just keep them alive during the blade.
Did Fixer have sound barrier for that fight? Because again, he's just not used it. So he probably should have paid more attention to that, but it's just like...
I think he gained it very early in the fight.
Right, it's just, yeah, I think that would have been helpful there versus the Blade. As Dragons shove it, payload right back into Fusion territory. And in a hot second, there it is, the checkpoint again for the forward spawn. They already capped the checkpoint, so it's no delay. See that Lip and Carpe actually just going for each other there. Carpe wants it.
Nice trade there. Beats. Ziaki still finds aim God. Carpe. Blown out there by Lee Jae-gon. Just a collapse for the Fusion here.
This is about to be 90 meters.
Well, we passed the threshold. We passed the event horizon already, Avril. Is that what we're aiming towards right now?
I remember, you know, we talked about this in the sort of pre-game here, where it's like, you know, very momentum-based map. It's just been Dragons' favored as far as that goes so far. Very likely they get the first cap. They indeed do. I said 90 meters, or how about 100, says the Dragons.
Probably making an even 103. That's what's happened right now. Zest needs life support. Fury. Rampage just finds one. We're finding a lot of solo rampages this game.
You can win a fight off that. You know, it's not all about how many you get sometimes. It's about making sure you can convert.
Yeah, there's a conversion. There's one. There's two. The Doc takes out Fury. There was some displacement applied.
I'm going to take it back.
Void.
Take it back. That time, if they got more from Fury, maybe they would have won. I think I failed to acknowledge the part where Void just uses his own rampage.
Do you know what the problem is with that one as well, Avril? Void didn't even get the ideal usage. Void was also displaced.
Because what I'm thinking is, like, if you Fury Rampage while you into a fight, you should win from there. Okay, Lip just casually kills Carpe, as you do.
Disgusting. Who are you? Find so many with the blades!
They're gonna cap.
I think they are! There's 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, Avril. We've gone well past the event horizon. We're diving straight to the center of the black hole.
Oh my goodness. We're about to see what the singularity looks like. Can they touch Zest? Just makes it in time. Aim God needs to rally. Zest needs a blade. Fusion needs a miracle.
And Zest pulls out that blade. The miracle, it might be delivered. Zest finding 2, make it a 3. Okay, you've stayed out of the singularity for a couple more minutes, lads. You've still got a long way to go to break out of its gravity.
You didn't read the fine print. When I say miracle, I meant to turn around the whole map, not just to win one fight.
No.
You're still trailing by 115. What? That's an understatement. It basically means I don't think Fusion can lose again. They kind of have to just play flawlessly, right, for a minute 30 in a row.
Yeah. They get stalled here. It's all over. Be used by Fixter very proactively. They need to convert this, otherwise they're going to start running this damage.
Nice.
Great attention play to Lift. That's what you got to see. Just shut him down immediately. Takes the overclock with him. Who are you as well? It's looking good for the Fusion right now. Both damage dealers removed. Take out DJ Gone. No opportunity to use the beat. All right. You've done that once. Let's see you do it about 5 more times. We might be able to call this a map win for you.
Sadly, you're not even exaggerating. It probably is like that many fights when you're over 100 meters behind in terms of raw difference. So you're about to. So once we hit 38, they're officially 100 meters behind and counting down from there. So if you're Dragons, again, I was going to say you don't need to embarrass Philly. I think that's mostly already happened. What you got to do here is just going to bank them ultimates and win. They're going to pull the trigger. Fury's low HP.
Can't lose Fury.
Carpe needs a frag. He's desperate.
Rampage finds 3. The rally's going to try and save them. Fury goes down low. They did convert Void. This is looking good so far. 1-for-1 trade. And the rally will expire. Zest gets the advantage here. Payload still in control. Who are you? Brings the play. Drops it back down. The showstopper from Who Are You? One more should do it. But he's still staggered out. Zest cuts him down. It's not over, but the time bank is in dire straits.
There's no members. The problem is Shanghai have close spawns. Fusion don't have spawns. They've actually gone back to Taxi. Fix is going to have to touch. Fix has a touch.
3,
Zest has to touch.
2. Zest does it. Overtime triggered. They're back into play. They can't lose the members. Zest has gone down. The problem with having to do the lone touch is you make yourself vulnerable. They take out Fixer as well. It's all over. The miracle has been denied. We knew it was going to be tough. But the Shanghai Dragons, Avril, they've done enough to close out the map. Make it a 3-1 scoreline. Colosseo is theirs. And the match win streak, that will continue.
You say they had enough to get it done. I would say that halfway through the map, they had enough to get what it done. It was already like 90 plus meters.
I'm trying to end on the high for the Fusion. Trying to end on the high.
It was already, well, they made it further. They made it a little bit further. So that's the high for the Fusion is which map did they win? The first one? Ilios.
They won the first one,
high
yeah,
for
Ilios.
the Fusion. Since then, since Ilios, it did not look amazing. I think another high is potentially the fact that Shanghai weren't allowed to just finish the whole map. That would have been, that's probably one of the most one-sided things that can happen in all of Overwatch is for a full completion of Colosseo. So at least that didn't happen for the Fusion. But we are kind of clutching at straws here in terms of silver linings. But you know, the best silver linings for the Fusion is great Ilios, legitimately good, 0.99 comeback. Carpe once again had a better map here than Zest, so eat your heart out. And Shanghai Dragons, I think as expected, do win, but with a little bit of a hiccup. Not flawless, but it is good. And Tread, why don't you do us the honors? I think there's only one person that can be player of the match here. It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't even deny this. The impact that they had in this series, just even against their opposite man, just the amount of times they were able to just remove Carpe from the game. You probably watched a montage of just the Carpe kills, but the accuracy to flick onto Zest. Lip is your player of the match, and there was never going to be a doubt moving into Colosseo that that was the case. We were going to end up with this result.
Yeah, it's been a while since you see Lip take over. You know, 2021 he did plenty of that. Yeah, I think we have maybe a couple games this season where Lip looked like he could take over. But this was the match where he like just truly took the game into his own hands and did not allow the Fusion to do anything. I mean, not without any deaths. I mean, he still got caught out a couple times. He still died. Technically speaking, Who Are You out-fragged him on the final map, but across the board, and this is where Lip actually didn't get off the Sojourn. So for 4 maps, we have 45 final blows, of which 33 are from the rail. 124 elims, a lot of kill participation there, and 41,000 damage done over 4 maps, so getting more than 10k per map, which is really, really cool to see. Well, actually, some maps were, maps like Colosseo, he didn't get over 10k, but maps like Junkertown, he got insane amounts of damage, right? So it all evens out at the end of the day. But that aside, just the impact, it's not even just the raw numbers of like how many he got, it's the raw impact of when he got them. They're typically first bloods. What did he shut down? Like, again, he forced Fixer into an Ajax on Junkertown, and shut down players like Zest and Carpe, a lot of Carpe, but also Zest. Like, part of the reason I think Zest didn't end up having the greatest series towards the end is because both Easyaki and Lep specifically just contained him. I mean, when your best player on the Philadelphia Fusion that's typically carried your team to victory gets contained in that kind of way, then your level of expression on the team suddenly drops by quite a lot, because a lot of Fusion series that we've seen in the past rely heavily on Zest to carry the team, and if he can't do that because Lip and Easyaki have shut him down, then there's not a lot left for the Fusion to do.
Yeah, you can't rely on the one strategy of letting Zest basically go and kill and win it for you, unfortunately. But there's a lot of things for the Fusion to unwind about, break down as they look towards the future, because you've still got plenty more matches in this stage. But that's it for today for the East region. We're about at the halfway point of all the Overwatch action this week. Obviously, you've got North America later, and of course, we'll be back tomorrow for more East region games. I've been Trid, this is Avril. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later.
Now.